Well, hello everybody. It is another episode of A Piece of Molly's Mind. I am Molly Gebler. I am your host of a podcast that you never knew you needed. And this, my friends, is my Christmas episode because it is the week before Christmas and I am just so excited about it all. I have to share with you that I was able to add Mrs. Claus to my resume this past weekend. I debuted my Mrs. Claus character, and just when I thought Santa Claus was the ultimate, I have to tell you, I had so much fun being Mrs. Claus. We hosted a cookies and cocoa with Mrs. Claus at the Inn of Chagrin, and oh my gosh, it was so magical. I mean, truly, it was magical. I truly take it as an honor because when I walk in, I mean, these kids are mesmerized by it. It was crazy. I'm going to show you some footage and some pictures, and the littles were my elves, and they helped me out so much. And they were very nervous that somebody would recognize them, and they were very nervous that people would realize they weren't elves. And we had a very long talk about that and me being Mrs. Claus, and just how sometimes we're asked to do characters and act, and that's what it was. And we had such a fun time, So I'm for hire, Mrs. Claus. If you need me, I'm for hire. So much fun. So it is the week of Christmas. Christmas Eve is kind of our big deal in our family, the McCurdy family. Shout out to the McCurdy family. We have been hosting, well, I haven't, but my grandmother, my Mimi, hosted Christmas Eve 60 years ago. It started, and it started because my mother had her first child, which was my oldest brother. And my Mimi, with all her wisdom, said to my mother, listen, you go be with your husband's family on Christmas Day and be with little Ron on Christmas Day, and we'll just have Christmas Eve together. And that's how it started 60 years ago. We have been doing it ever since. I think we didn't do it on COVID, if I'm not mistaken, but we have done it every year. My grandmother eventually passed away, my Mimi. Then her daughter, my Aunt Martha, took the challenge over, and she actually bought the house, so we got to maintain it at the same house on Ridge Road in Wickliffe. And then after my aunt downsized and sold the house, then my cousin Kathleen and her husband Scott took over. And it is such a wonderful shit show. And for those of you who know my family, you'll enjoy that. It's a good shit show. Like it's a beautiful, chaotic fun. So we get together, and I mean, most of us don't see each other throughout the year. So it's just a great time to get together. I don't even know how many there are of us. My Mimi had 7 kids, although 3 are gone, but it's super fun. So I'm looking forward to that. That's Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Day, we've decided usually I do a turkey, but we've decided this year that we're doing a fondue. We're going to do chocolate and oil and do some steak and lobster. I have a bottle of Dom that is chilling that we are going to crack open for Christmas Day and just enjoy each other and play games and all that good stuff. This is my Christmas episode. I do want to make mention about this episode. There are a lot of photos. My guest's house is a conversation. I'm not going to give it away yet. So my suggestion is to definitely watch this one and not listen to it, because I think you'll miss some things just by listening to it. Speaking of listening or watching, it is time for a little update on my growth, thanks to the help of all of you. So let's take a look. So I promised you guys that I was going to make my board look a little better, and I really think I made it worse. So here is my board. This is Spotify. And when I did it, it got all mangled together and I couldn't make it better. So, oh wait, well, whatever. So this is Spotify. So these were my numbers last week. I will tell you, Instagram, we're starting from scratch again. So just bear with me. So these are my numbers from last week. I've got the 18th right here. Let's start with changing the date to today's date. Okay. All right. Are we ready? So at Facebook, we were at 523. Ugh. And we are at 526. Again, I have 1.8 followers. I need help on that. Instagram, we were at 235. Remember, this is our original number, so this is going to be a big jump. And we are at 262. And then YouTube, we were at 22. We are now at 29. And then my Spotify over here, we were at 11 and we are now at 13. Yay! So again, I will do percentages, or my boyfriend Chat will figure out the percentages, and we'll see what my growth percentage is. I love that. So with that being said, I always have to do my plea to follow, like, subscribe, whatever it is that you do on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube, and help me grow. Because again, I want to go live at the Hive. Gosh, I love that. Me live at the Hive, hopefully in April or May, probably May or June. Let's go with May or June. We haven't picked the date yet. I want to go live at the Hive, May or June, and I need a big growth to make that happen. So please share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I also wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm going to show you a video right here. I am obsessed with snowflakes, and I took a video the other day when it was snowing off of my car, and it just blows my mind on how gorgeous a snowflake is and how they truly are different. Like, they're just all different. And for anyone searching for faith or God or a higher being, look at these snowflakes and tell me that that person, that figure, does not exist. I mean, I would challenge you on that. It's just, they're just spectacular, and I enjoy the snow. I know, everyone throw it in your comments. I get it. But I love the snow, and I love a good snowstorm. I think we're not going to have a white Christmas this year, and that makes me so sad, although it snowed a little bit today, so I will take it. But it's just gorgeous. So gorgeous, a snowflake. I took a picture and I was like, I'm going to share that with my friends. So we pimped out my car for the kids, and really for me, to be honest with you. I put a projector in there that shines up, and it all stemmed from baby girl Gabbler, who is home, by the way. Yay! She's home for like 2 weeks. Makes my heart full. And for those of you who are just watching, she is no baby, but she will always be my baby. So we call her baby girl Gabbler. She lives in New York, and she's home hanging out with us for winter break or Christmas break or holiday break. But she was in a car in New York, and she sent us a video. The whole roof, the inside roof, was all white sparkle lights, and she's like, oh, we need to get this for Mom. And of course I was like, oh yeah, we do. I did look into it. It is pricey, plus you need to take the whole upper roof out, and then you poke holes, and then you feed 400 little lights in. So I just went out and got a projector that plugs into USB, and then it shines on the roof, and we have so much fun. I gotta show you the video. So much fun. The kids love it. We were going and looking at lights the other day, and we had that going and our hot cocoa, and it was just perfect. And I will tell you, I get in the car and it just makes me happy. It makes me smile. And I said, we're going to keep it, because it's blue and it's all different colors. So it's not just red or green. So we're keeping it. So if you see a black Tahoe drive past and a lot going on inside, that would be me. That would be me. And until I get my license plate, which I just got a letter of approval, I don't know what any of that means, but I think that means it's coming back. Until then, look for the projector. After that, look for my license plate. I just also wanted to talk about special memories. Like Christmas in our house is just so special. And there's a Instagram post that says that Christmas is special because a mother made it special. And there wasn't anyone better than making Christmas special than my mom. My mother was a widow at 32 years old. We were 2, 4, 6, and 8. So she had 4 kids under the age of 8. She was 32. My father passed away of cancer. He only had cancer for like 6 to 8 months. They gave him that to live, and then he passed away. And I just have to say, like, she never missed a beat, especially Christmas time. We would go over to Mimi's house for Christmas Eve. Mim lived probably, I don't know, 25 houses down the street, same street. And we would always be nervous, like, are we going to get home? Are we going to run into Santa? We would always get home. There would be Santa footprints on the front porch. Then inside there would be a letter from Santa saying, you know, I'll be back, and just ate the cookie. And then we have a tradition. It's called a bed, or a bed gift. I still do it. Samantha now does it with the littles. It's just a tradition that continues on. And it was actually created by my mother so that we would have something to open. She put it on the end of our bed, and we were allowed to open that when we woke up. We had to stay in the bedroom, but we could open that. And later on in life, she shared with us that she created that so that she could sleep in, because she had been up all night, probably wrapping gifts and getting everything under the tree. So that's a tradition that lives on. Even baby girl Gebler, who stays here when she's home, she gets a bed present, and now the littles get bed presents. And I am glad that that's a tradition that continues. It doesn't allow me to sleep in any, but it's a tradition. She also, and warning, if you are listening with any kids in the car, warning, I'm about to do a spoiler alert. So either stop, pause, or come back. Okay. So when we would find out, and I'll leave it at that, when we would find out, the year we found out, so let's say we found out in September about, you know what I'm talking about, in December or for Christmas, you would be allowed to put the gifts out under the tree and help her wrap. So the year you found out is the year you then got to help her Christmas Eve. And just a tradition that she, probably because she needed the help or wanted the help, but just so cool. And I'd love to hear some of your holiday memories, traditions that you had as a child and that you continue. Another tradition, not a tradition, but obviously going and seeing Santa is a huge tradition. If you take a look at this picture, there was a time that I didn't like Santa, and that's apparent. And then this is a picture of my daughter and myself on Santa's lap, her giving me the same stress that I gave my mother sitting on Santa's lap. And then I found these pictures here and remembered how my second dad, I was blessed to have 2 dads, and how my second dad would dress up like Santa all the time. He'd come out in the McCurdy family as Santa, and these are pictures of when he was in his nursing home. He dressed up like Santa. So then I realized where my passion to dress up as Santa Claus came from. And I love doing it every year. I really do. But now I'm going to love being Mrs. Claus as well, both of them. So last week, Corey Cott, great episode. If you have not listened to it, please listen to it. He has been in 4 Hallmark movies. He has been on Broadway. He is currently a reoccurring character on SVU. He's just amazing. Great voice, incredible voice. And his episode ran last week. And big news. You know who liked it? Are you ready? Are you all sitting down? The Hallmark Channel. There's the proof. The Hallmark Channel liked my post about Corey Cott. Like, I was freaking out. I texted my girls. I texted everybody. That was a big deal. So Hallmark Channel, thank you. And keep making your movies. And how about Chagrin Falls? Again, I'll say it again. So speaking of Christmas, if anyone has seen on HGTV, there is a show out right now. It's called Hoarders for the Holidays. I think there's 3 or 4 episodes. Each episode has 3 people and kind of their obsession with holiday decor. So my guest this week is Hope, and Hope was on Hoarders for the Holidays. And we talk about what the definition of hoarders is versus a collector. We talk about vintage. We talk about mental health. It's a great interview that really goes in a whole bunch of different directions. I always tell my guests, I do not do much research prior to their interviews because I truly want, don't get me wrong, I have questions and I do write them down. But sometimes I don't ask them all because the interview kind of takes its own path, and I love that. It's organic, and I love where it's going to take me and where the guest is going to go with it. So this one, I thought we were going to talk all about hoarders for the holidays, and we did. We talked a lot about that, but it just took a different direction as well. And Hope is an absolute joy. I want you to mark it right here because I would not be surprised if you're going to see her on her own show. I don't know anything, but follow her. We'll share her Instagram at the end. She is such a joy and such a delight and just such a sweetheart that I would not be surprised if you saw her on her own show. And if HGTV, if you're watching, grab her because she would be a great addition to your channel. And if you don't, someone definitely is going to grab her. So what else? I think that's really it. I hope you guys all have an absolute amazing Christmas. What I want for Christmas is for you guys to follow and like me and tell your friends and to grow those numbers for me so that I could be live at the Hive in May or June. So sit back, grab some hot cocoa, and grab some Baileys. Grab a hot toddy. I don't care. Just get cozy, and enjoy this episode of A Piece of Molly's Mind. Well, I hope that you all enjoy my interview with Hope from Hoarders for the Holidays on my Christmas edition of A Piece of Molly's Mind. I should have like a Santa hat on or something. I should have done this whole thing in a Santa hat. Oh, well. But enjoy the episode, and I want to wish everybody a very, very Merry Christmas. I hope that you spend it with love, with your family and your friends. And if you know somebody who might be alone for the holidays, reach out to them, tell them they're loved, and have a great time. Slow down, enjoy each other, and Merry, Merry Christmas. So that is it for me. You guys enjoy the episode, and we'll see you.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I wore this just special for you.
Oh, yay. I love it. I know I do have mine on too in my earrings, but it's kind of hard to see. I'm in my dining room here.
I love that. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. This is so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Help me before, and I'm recording, but before we actually start, help me pronounce your last name. Folks, thank you for joining. This is my Christmas episode on A Piece of Molly's Mind, and I could not have selected the most appropriate guest for my Christmas episode than Miss Hope. And Miss Hope, welcome to A Piece of Molly's Mind.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, I love the background. I will tell
Me
you,
too.
it wasn't until I saw, oh my gosh, we're gonna,
I'm in the dining room.
oh my gosh, it
So,
it wasn't until I saw. So I have so much, you guys. I have so much I want to talk to Hope about. So I'm going to try with my ADD brain to keep this focused. Hope was just recently featured on HGTV's Hoarders for the Holidays, which is airing now. It's a great episode. I've only seen your episode. I haven't seen any of the other ones yet. And she is also other than being a movie star now, but she is a special ed teacher, grades 2 to 4. Is that
yes, that's correct for this
okay?
year.
And you are from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I want to start my interview right there because I'm from Ohio. We already had our first mix up with our time zones
Yeah.
setting up this interview. I know absolutely zero about Milwaukee, Wisconsin, other than Happy Days, uh,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, right?
I believe so.
I
I
believe
should
that
know
was.
that. You would think I know that.
Um, and as Laverne and Shirley, would that also be?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about Wisconsin so that I can feel like I'm educated.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Wisconsin. I was actually born in South Milwaukee. I'm adopted. Both my brother and I are adopted. So, I grew up on the south side of Milwaukee. My parents are still, they're actually 9 blocks away from us. My parents, Kyle's grandparents, and we are all on the same street, just blocks apart.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but Milwaukee is just wonderful. I mean, Wisconsin in general is wonderful, right? But we're known for supper clubs. I mean, a lot of the
Okay.
Midwest is, but Wisconsin is really like, the supper club. I don't want to say capital, but the old fashions, the fish fries, the
Okay.
lake day, spending the day at the lake.
What's your
I
weather?
The weather, well, right now it's about 25 degrees outside and there's a lot of snow.
Okay, so same as
Um,
us.
yeah, so very similar to Ohio. And we were saying before when we had that misconnection of time zone, my cousins had just visited from Ohio and
Yes.
actually were, like driving back to beat the storm. So yeah,
Did
very
you
similar weather.
did you find out where in Ohio?
No, I did text my cousin. She didn't get back to me, so I don't know if it was just like the travel
Yeah. Come
stuff
on,
happening.
cousin.
But yeah, she will respond once I do. I'll definitely
Okay.
text her.
I'd love to know where they were.
Yeah, I can't think if there's anything else
Okay.
Wisconsin.
Cheese.
No, cheese, yes.
Yeah.
Cheese, Bloody Marys.
Oh,
Uh,
Bloody Mary. Okay.
oh yeah, Bloody Marys are super popular here, and we're one of like the only states too. Even if you go to Illinois and order a Bloody Mary, it doesn't come with a chaser. So you won't go anywhere in Milwaukee or even Wisconsin and order a Bloody Mary that doesn't come with a shorty type
Of
of
what?
beer.
Of beer.
Yeah. So every Bloody Mary you order in Wisconsin has a chaser Bloody Mary.
Interesting.
If you order that in other states, like even the surrounding Midwest, they look at you like you're crazy.
I've
That's
never
what they
heard of it.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So now I feel like I know a little bit. Where'd you go to college?
I went for my undergraduate degree in textile arts at UW Milwaukee, and then the year of COVID, graduated with my master's in special education from Alverno.
Okay. Why did you take that extra step and go into special ed?
After undergrad, I was teaching different textile art classes around Milwaukee at different shops and at libraries. And as much as I loved it, I realized very quickly it was not this consistent thing. I'm coming up on 26. I'm going to be off my parents' insurance. I'm not working. I mean, I was working full time, but not.
Right.
And actually, all throughout undergrad, I was a line
Oh, excuse me.
therapist for the autism intervention in Milwaukee. So I got to work with some really awesome and unique kids, and that was always kind of my love for special education.
Uh-huh.
And then when it came to continuing in an art avenue or going back to school, it was like just very clear to me that special ed was the thing.
Takes just a certain person, a special person. So thank you for, because
Yeah.
it is not easy. I told you my daughter was a teacher and then she became a principal and now she's with Teach for America. But there were days where
Yeah.
there were days.
Yes.
You are single?
Uh, According to my taxes, yes, I file the single bracket. But no, I have been with my boyfriend Kyle for 10 years. So
Okay.
yeah.
Uh, Kyle was mentioned in the show because you claimed
Mhm.
that you were going to pick up a chair for Kyle, right? Isn't that
Yes.
who
Yeah.
you did come home with one? You were right.
I did come home with a chair, yes. It was not
Yeah.
the chair intended, but it wasn't a lie.
I don't believe you were specific. You just said a chair. I
Yeah.
mean, you did need the truck, so that did suggest something.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about HGTV. So, how did they find you?
Yeah, so I get asked this question a lot. I think a lot of people just assumed I applied for it, but they actually reached out to me after they'd found my Instagram account.
Okay,
And they had found a couple posts on some of the Facebook groups of like vintage, mid-century, holiday, kitsch, whatever. Recruiters from the casting company had reached out to me and said, "Hey, we found your social media, your Instagram. We love the vibe. You're funny. We see your videos. We'd love to interview you." So then I went through 3 rounds of interviews before it was actually like decided upon.
did they have to come to your house, or did you need to send pictures of your collection?
Yeah, I sent pictures of my collection. I was actually, so the timeline of this is kind of odd too, because I was at school when I got the initial email, and it was after school and reading my personal emails, and I see this thing of like, TV show opportunity, and I'm like, okay, whatever, but I
Right.
read it and I go walk to third
Um,
grade and talk to my friend Rebecca, one of my co-teachers. And I'm like, hey, look at this is so weird. Like they're saying they found my Instagram or my social media. I wonder if this is too good to be true. So I do all the things. I send my email back. I send my pictures, a little blurb about myself, whatever. And then I don't hear anything. So I'm like, ghosted. But I didn't put any bank account information, so it was kind of like whatever, just wasted my time.
yeah.
And then fast forward, so that was like April. So then of last year. So then May, June comes, and I get another email from a different person at the same casting company. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. And they were like super kind about it. They're like, we just got so busy. We apologize so much, but we're still holding interviews. We still really want to interview you. And then I had scheduled my first interview in June. So I had to set up my dining room for Christmas, like a little backdrop for my interview. That was the expectation. And then my second interview, like they had questioned me and they were like, is there anyone in your life that doesn't understand this, obsession? And I was like, my dad. My dad is my best friend. He's my favorite person. Like ever since I was, a baby, like I've just always been a daddy's girl, like through and through. But he is so like 2 pairs of pants, 2 t-shirts, Roth IRA, yeah,
Yeah.
forward thinking of retirement, and I am so not that at all. I'm very much a maximalist in any sense. So they wanted to interview him. They were like, "Do you think they talked to him? Like that dynamic or whatever." So we interviewed up north then. So then we had to have an interview up north because over the summertime I'm up at our lake house. So that was really fun.
Oh my gosh. Hoarders is not the most lighthearted show. I mean, there is definitely, I don't want to say a sickness, but it's definitely an issue that people have that
Yeah.
they deal with.
Mhm.
Were you afraid of that? See, when I watched the episodes, I love Christmas too. I didn't take it as this person has an issue, she
Mhm.
needs help. Were you afraid that people were going to see you in that light?
It's funny. I wasn't up until filming came. So, like, we filmed in September,
Okay.
and my dad and my boyfriend Kyle was a part of the whole process. He was just behind the scenes. Like, I'm the extrovert, he's the introvert.
Gotcha.
I'm
Perfect
the Cindy
couple.
Lou Who, he's the Grinch type thing. Like, yeah, we're very, very yin and yang in that sense. So, him and my dad were kind of joking around and giving me, grief of like, oh, they're gonna make you out to be a hoarder. Like they're gonna, they totally are gonna make this out like it's a
Right.
problem. And it wasn't until that moment of like filming that I was like, oh shit, or sorry,
Now,
shoot.
oh,
Like,
please, totally allowed to swear on this
okay,
show.
okay,
100%.
good, good. Like yeah, are you worried about that? And I was like, I've never even thought up until this moment of that.
Yeah.
I think what's hard, like being in education, being a special education teacher, being in any person that works in a school setting, regardless of your title or role, like you do sign yourself up to be in the business of, mental health. I mean, that's kind of where we are in our country.
Sure.
Not to get too much into that, but
Oh, yeah.
so I think like once the name came out and was confirmed, because I found out during filming they were playing around with the word hoarding. I wasn't so worried of like what random strangers on the internet think, because I think like people watching the show would see my collection and know like, oh, this woman's like into only vintage. Like I don't
Right.
have anything post 19 like 68.
Right.
But I feel not guilt so much, but I do think that, with the negative connotation of hoarding, like it is really a mental health problem. I don't want
You want
that
to make a light.
a lightness of it. I know
Right.
that's a very serious thing. I think that the name was catchy. And I do think that, I mean, if you look up the definitions, which I have and sent to a couple of people, the difference of hoarding and collecting is like hoarding, you're like self-isolating. There's not really a rhyme or reason. It's kind of
Yeah.
random modge podge. And like collecting is like you're doing displays and it brings you joy and community. And, so
Sure.
yeah. So all of
Hoarding
that.
is more out of a fear of detachment also.
Yes. Yes.
Um, yeah. So you didn't even know when you signed up that it was going to be called that.
Not until filming. No, it was
Okay.
just about serious holiday collectors. And then filming came, and the whole reason why my dad and Kyle even brought it up is because they saw, for I don't know what that thing is called. I never
The
remember it, but
clacker.
yeah, that
Yeah.
thing. They saw written on it like something about hoarding. And it wasn't hoarding for the holidays, but it was like holiday hoarder or something like similar to that. And that's what kind
Okay.
of like my dad and Kyle started giggling.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like, okay. So it's hard because the feedback online, and social media is hard and putting yourself out there is hard. And like as someone with my own mental health struggles that I've been honest about on Instagram, as fully transparent as I can and want to be, right? Like
Right.
public.
Which is what for those who haven't followed you.
Like just severe anxiety. I have two diagnosed phobias that, I was diagnosed with as a little kid. I don't go into those super much, but just that it's like a very real thing to be able to be online and collecting and happy, and then also at the same time really struggling and going through it and like dual
Right.
sides. I think for the most part, my friends and my family and the producers from the show, they're like, your humor is just so dry and funny, and like that's what we get to see online.
Yeah.
But then to be able to also be like, like to find out that I'm writing a book and like one of my chapters is like good but not so good grief. And it's like one minute you're thrifting and eating hot bar fried chicken in your car, and the next you're crying about your dead dog from 5 years ago. Like that's a very real conflict,
Yes.
right?
Especially when you're collecting such happiness,
Yes.
you would think that you just must be happy 24/7. And I
Yeah.
think that is the scary part about mental health is that they just assume
Yeah.
the assumption.
Yeah.
And so then they're not going to ask you. They're
Right.
just going to assume that I mean, she has to be happy 24/7.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I like being able to show that, on Instagram. I mean,
that's
showing the
amazing.
loss of my dog and all of it, right? Like today was hard at school or whatever, and whatever the case. And it's never anything so serious because obviously that stuff I'm much more of a private, like
Right.
crying, bed blankets over my head, like I don't care about anything. but just yeah, relatable, right? Like that's what I wanted the show to be, as like someone who I would consider myself a genuinely, happy person, but also very real. And I collect, and I probably spend too much money on Christmas, which is not a probably. It's definitely, anything vintage and kitschy and whatever. But I'm also like a hardworking, caring person, and all of that kind of stuff.
And all of that is okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Quite literally, the entire amount that I had planned to put into my savings, I was getting paid for this, has actually gone back into Christmas. So like that is very real. That is a reality. I had all the best intentions, which is always true. I don't ever do anything ill-intended and um consciously, but yeah, all of the money slowly kind of came out of my.
How long did it take to shoot your episode? Or at least your segment? Because your episode has three people.
Yeah, or at least our episode has three. I thought it was every episode had three like stories,
Okay.
but maybe I only watched. Well, I didn't watch the new one that just came out. I think it was yesterday's was like the final. There's four episodes, so I was
Okay.
the first one. It took we filmed for 2 days. So like Saturday, we filmed all day from like 9 to like 9 at night. And then Sunday, it was like a little over a half day, which was like the estate sale part of things. Yeah, the experience was just, so surreal. I mean, just super, it's weird to have people come into your house, and they're picking up the cat and moving it, and they're moving, like they're doing all the
Yeah.
things. They're like, "Can I get you anything?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, wait a minute. This is my house. I can go get it." So that's just weird, but it was awesome. And but long days, long, long day.
What would we not have seen that you were surprised on how, oh, really, that's how they do it?
Oh, they filmed, well, that was, I think, the hard part. And Annie, who was one of the producers, and, she had kind of forewarned me, like, and so did Hank, one of the other producers who I really, really love. I mean, everyone was just great, but they were like, we film so much. And then, like, the company that edits it, whatever, like, they take what they need. And it's just, it seems like nothing. It seems like
Yeah.
we could have filmed that in 15 minutes. Like, I mean, there were scenes that were, like, obviously cut. And, like, I'm really happy that they kept the asbestos
Yeah.
thing. We say it wrong. That was very real. Like, there was a lot more to that. But that I've always had asbestos. I've never ever cared. I will crawl into a dirty dungeon hole basement. I'm never grossed out by like anything like that. So my dad's like real laugh in that was genuine. Like there was a lot of genuine laughter.
Would
And
you hope to get your own show?
oh my, I would love that. I mean, I already have this vision of like coming back for, let's say like Halloween is like always my number one. Like part of the interview was like, we're looking for people who are Christmas obsessed and solely Christmas obsessed. And I was very honest and I said, listen, I love Christmas. I am obsessed. The people, my immediate people around me, I am the lunatic that has way too much and is way too organized. But Halloween is like my number one. And
Interesting.
yeah, Halloween is number one for sure. So if I were to come back and have my own show, I already have like the opening scene. It would be like, "Bitch, I'm back," and then like my dad's in the background with like a Halloween headband, just like sitting really his normal like, oh my God,
I was surprised you weren't wearing one of your headbands.
I know I thought about it, but I'm actually, so I've had like a ton of orders for them. People have been messaging me left and right about like, can I buy a headband? Do you
Oh
make
my
do you sell
gosh.
them? And I just made them for fun, like spirit days at school, like ugly hat.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I can absolutely glue some vintage shit on top of this and like make it super obnoxious. Like that's how that
Yeah.
even started. I started making them in 2018, 2017. Um, yeah, so I've been making them. So no, I didn't want to put one on today because I was like, I don't always want to be in a headband.
How has the show, yeah, I mean, you're talking about these sales now. How has the show impacted your life?
I think for the better, I mean, a ton of people have reached out to me like your collection, even though they didn't really showcase it. It was more of the story of
Right.
me and my dad. Like that's, I guess, to answer your prior question, now that I'm talking about it, I wish they would have actually showed my collection. Like it was kind of always just the backdrop.
Right.
My story and my humor with my dad was more of the focus for them, and they had told me that. Like you and your dad are so natural, the relationship,
Mhm.
like we need to make that more of the focus. But um I wish they would have showed more of that. Yeah, so positively just meeting other people in the community, people reaching out with my headbands. Just growing my following on Instagram.
Being on a Piece of Molly's Mind podcast.
Yes, yeah, being on a podcast now. Look at that. Like it has reached like that avenue. The news is coming to my house next week. Yeah, just meeting other people and knowing that other people get it, I think negatively, and I try not to read too much into or even keep up at this point. Now I feel like the show has been great. It was an experience, but I'm back in like I'm in school. I'm
Yeah,
back to normal, I'm also an artist, so like I'm in my studio and I'm doing all the realm of things, right? So I'm not so much into the show now that it's premiered and it's over with, but the negative comments, of like people calling me a hoarder, but then not understanding either that it's a TV show, right? And like with TV, there's parts of things that, you don't get to see or you do get to see or maybe a little bit different. And but the people that know me the most know that, that's what matters, right? That
yeah. Does the community, how big is the community you live in? Did they always know that collect have these collections?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, definitely our neighborhood, we're on this like street that I wouldn't call as like a main street, but it's definitely not like a side neighborhood street. Um, they know, I mean, they can see from our house, like I have my tinsel tree or my aluminum tree, and then our real tree we do every year that has over 400, 500 ornaments on it. I think the cool part was though, like people on Facebook being like, "Oh my God, I follow her on Instagram." Like, I totally know this girl, like they feel, and I feel like I know a lot of people on Instagram. Like,
Right.
there's people I've never met that I consider some of my best friends. There's people that I have met through Instagram and I've gone to visit because they live in a different part of Wisconsin, or maybe I'm in a different state. So yeah, I wouldn't say that the community knows that, but like I'm definitely known in the selling community, I would say in Milwaukee. I mean, I used to have a booth space at a local antique mall here, and I got out of that. And now I just sell here and there on Instagram and I collect, but
Are you like a local celeb now? Like,
no, oh God, no.
no?
Well,
Come
I
on.
I don't think that at all. It's funny though because Kyle and I we drove to Illinois, Rockford, Illinois, into an antique store. And this woman comes up to us. First of all, I'm recognized by one of the women that worked there at the counter. She's like, "Oh my God, I follow you on Instagram. Your Hope Goes Thrifting. You're on the show." Okay, fine. So then we're like moving around the store, and Kyle's like, "Oh my God, she knew
Here we
you." And then
go.
this other woman comes up to us and is like, she touches my arm and she's like, "Are you ready to be recognized in public?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "I follow you online, but I watched your show and it was awesome. And you and your dad are so funny." And then last weekend, during the snowstorm, we were super both like antsy to get out. So we went to another local antique store, the opposite direction in Wisconsin. And the first thing I walk in, and there's a guy, he's a local Christmas dealer. He's well known in the vintage community on Facebook too. And he's like, "It's the superstar." Like he knew, and I actually met him 10 years ago looking at vintage Christmas at a thrift store. So like that kind of whole come full circle thing was just super weird.
You are a celebrity.
I don't think a celebrity, but I will say my kids, I didn't show them the whole episode, but I did show them clips at school on the smart board, and they were like super
Oh my,
excited and really
oh
supportive.
my gosh, I love it. What did you think of like seeing yourself? Like sometimes people can't see themselves on camera. Like what were you all right with that? Did you learn something new about yourself after watching?
Yeah, well, to get real and honest, which is, I think my Instagram users are like users, followers, people that I follow, mutual people on Instagram. That sounds so weird. Um, you know, as someone who has openly struggled with like an eating disorder her whole life and like body dysmorphia and all of that, I was worried for sure to see myself and to have other people see me and to kind of go back into that middle school mindset of, oh God, here comes this kid from class who's gonna call me out for my weight or whatever the case, right? So that's like an immediate thought. And then seeing
Yeah.
myself, we had a viewing party here. Annie, the producer, her cousin owns a restaurant in Milwaukee, so it was great. I had like all my friends and family come out. So just seeing, in that moment, because I watched it with them. I didn't see it prior. So it was like a
Right.
blind viewing with like
Oh
40
wow.
people around me.
Wow.
Um, I had moments in my head of like, oh God, I look fat or pregnant there. And then, looking at my friends having a great time, it was like, this should not even be a concern, Hope. Like,
Yeah.
so kind
No.
of stopping myself.
I think it was your glasses that stood out to me the most.
Were those the glasses you were
Yeah,
wearing?
these glasses. Yeah, I get comments on these all the time. They're
Yeah.
actually just from anthropology. I had my prescription put in.
Oh my
So,
gosh, I love
yeah.
that. Was there ever what during filming that the crew maybe picked up something and you're like, oh, I didn't even remember I had that? Or do you know every piece that you have?
I'm very actually like organized. I know the basement looked crazy with the blow molds and whatever, but like, very much in real life, like every single year when it gets put away, my old labels come off, everything is packed up by shelf for display, and then it's labeled. So I can go back and look like white shelf display 2024, and I can know exactly what's in it.
So
Um,
you decorate just for like this stuff goes away?
yes, my Christmas stuff does not stay out year round, because I go so big for Halloween and I go so big for Valentine's Day. I mean, I can't. It's up for months. I mean, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It's up all the time. From like the second Halloween is done, which is October 31st. So like that following day, November 1st, it's Halloween comes down. I have one day of just empty house where I do a deep clean of everything, baseboards, vacuum, whatever. And then Christmas goes right up. And then Christmas stays up until mid-January, and then Christmas comes down, Valentine's Day comes up, and then Valentine's Day stays out until the end of March because our anniversary is in March. So it's kind of fitting the theme. And then that comes down, and sometimes I'll do Easter. I missed Easter last year because we were putting our dog down. It was just a really hard time. Um, I don't have as much Easter, but then I go right into my summer displays. So it's constantly revolving. It's never just like a stagnant, this goes in this spot. It's things change all. That's the fun part.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
is it all vintage in all those seasons as well? Or is it just,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. The majority of my stuff for those holidays is just again like strictly nothing post 1970.
And are you constantly shopping or are you out and you get? Like, I just happen to be out, or are you looking for estate sales? Are
Oh, I'm
you,
constantly looking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's constant. I mean, Kyle, it took 10 years, but I got him there. He's like, I don't like the word addicted, but like truly, like the thrill of the hunt and the chase, like he is like, yeah, we gotta go. Like we're
Yeah.
missing this one piece of whatever.
Oh my
We
gosh.
call him Mr. Pyrex now. My mom and my aunts do because I stopped collecting Pyrex. I bought these white bookcases from IKEA, which I don't love, but they just do a really nice job displaying versus all of my old vintage furniture. They have a lot of space. And I intended to use some of it for my barware and like kind of do a color coding thing. And then he just took it over completely once he saw how good the Pyrex looked in the white cases with the glass doors. And now he's just been on a spiral finishing sets. And
Getting up because they have all different colors, right? The
yeah, so
Pyrex.
I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I've always loved it, and I have pieces from my grandma, and I used to thrift it all the time, like back in high school.
Well, I will tell you, it wasn't until the show that I learned what those are called behind you, the blow molds.
Yes, blow mold. Yeah.
And I'm born in 1970, so
Mhm.
that was in everyone's yard
Yeah. Yep.
growing up. And then you've got like that the Santa is that I love that face,
Oh
that
yeah, this one.
Santa face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my ultimate favorite Santa face with the little
Yeah.
things there. And do they go outside? Do you display outside at all?
No, all of our blow molds for Halloween and Christmas are inside. So it's like
Okay.
quite literally just like candy cane lane in our house. You walk in and you're like, well, one, we don't have overhead lighting in the living room. And two, it's in the dining room, but we never have it on. It's just like the perfect low lighting. Never will they see the snow or the weathering. They're stored in the basement very safely. Like I won't even allow them to be stored in the garage rafters because I'm like, no,
Yeah,
you're going
because
to be
they're
weathered.
not cheap.
No, they're not cheap, and we have really rare ones. I mean, we've
Yeah.
spent a good amount of money. The very real story of me texting both of my parents separately saying I needed $500 because it was an emergency. Like that happened last year, and it was because we came across this blow mold collection that I had to buy. So
Obviously.
yeah, they're
Do
put in
you
dust bags.
do you
Like
have any
Halloween.
idea what your collection could be?
Oh, I mean, a lot. No, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, even just
I
from some
mean,
of our smalls.
right behind you, if those are
Mhm.
$200 to $300 a piece,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if I had to take an estimate, and I'm thinking of how all the vintage Halloween I have, I would say and the pirate. I mean, I've my entire upstairs too. We have our spare bedroom is a vintage everything. I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's
Do you decorate outside at all?
Yes, Kyle decorates with the blow ups, not blow molds, like
Gotcha.
those new ones. And then he puts out his LED lights and he makes it really nice looking outside.
Do you guys have other hobbies other than vintage shopping?
Yeah, we both, I would say, are really, that's probably why we work so well together. We're both very independent in our hobbies. So the vintage collecting, now we get to do together, which I love that. But my hobbies, are my studio of knitting and quilting and sewing. And he is just a brainiac when it comes to building cars. And he's got his garages. Like he's a total motor gearhead. He's always in the garage doing stuff on one of his cars or motorcycles or four wheelers or jet skis or snowmobile. Like he's very,
Oh,
very
wow.
inclined that way, and has a lot of interest in, outlets in that area.
Is this been from the beginning that did your parents decorate crazy during the holidays?
Yeah, I mean, my mom was never. She didn't go overboard from what I would consider other people do. Like we had the real Christmas tree. We'd go as a family and pick one out. We'd put the real light bulbs on it, the colorful big bulb ones. Like
Yeah.
it was so hot, and we'd both my brother and I would have to water the tree 6 times a day. And my dad started collecting this dish set, this vintage, I guess technically vintage now, but he started it in the 80s. But that Washerbach brand of they're like red ceramic dishes that have green Christmas trees on it. I don't know if you've seen that, but my dad started that collection for my mom when they got married. And then every year, like back when like Boston store was still a thing and going to the mall was like still a real
Yes.
thing, we'd pick out my mom a new piece of it. So like I remember going with my dad and like being really excited because she doesn't have the glasses or she didn't have the coffee carafe or whatever. And then now over the years, I've thrifted so much of it too, because it's made its way kind of out.
Yeah.
I mean, those are really, really
That's
fond
such a
memories.
special memory too. Like
Yeah.
that's so cool. It showed that you sold some. Do you sell some of your items?
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
sell. I do sell, that's the thing with being the vintage community and world is like I buy and sell and um that's part of the process. I get a collection and then I kind of phase out of that collection and maybe I'm like, okay, I'll give it one more season or whatever. But yeah, I definitely sell every year now since not having the booth anymore, like the brick and mortar part. David and I, my best friend, my vintage friend who I did the booth with, we do a summer sale. So one weekend of summer, we go through our own collections and stuff that tchotchkes we've been getting at estate sales that we don't really love, but you couldn't leave behind, right? Because that's the life of a
Uh-huh.
vintage collector. And then we sell that way. And then on Instagram, things here and there. But
What's the most expensive item you have? Like one piece or rarest, which I think probably is one and the same.
oh man, well, we did just accumulate the whole Howard Punch Bowl set, the Christmas Santa headset with the mugs and the ladle in mint condition, like never used. We drove 2 hours one night to pick it up, randomly, like just not planned. That was $1,000. Full transparency,
What
so
is it
that's
worth? Is
well,
that
in the
about what?
condition it's in, probably 1,300, I would say 1,200, 13. I mean, we paid like what, asking prices for it. It
Okay.
wasn't like we got it for a steal or anything. My blow mold collection, I mean, I have a ton of Halloween blow molds that are really rare. I mean, really sought after that we got from this woman in her collection. I
I
don't
don't
just,
even know if I've seen a Halloween one.
oh yeah, there's hundreds that exist. I mean, I
Oh,
have in my Instagram account a picture of like my group lot of them that took up the whole living room. And I know I have over 300 Halloween ones.
oh wow. When you say your summer display, what does that mean? Like what's up during a summer display?
Yeah, so my summer display, I do all of my barbecue, my vintage barbecue picnic theme. So I have a whole shelf of that. I do all of my vintage plastics, that I get at estate sales. Like I have a thing like no colorful bucket left behind. Like every estate sale you go into, there's like always like a pink or aqua or yellow like dirty mop bucket under the
Uh,
sink or by the dryer, and I always ask to buy it, and they're always just like take it because ew, it's disgusting. So I've got like 30 of those. So I do a whole display of my plastic and then all my barware, the Pyrex, anything colorful that I can rainbow just gets rainbowed and it just looks so fresh and clean. And I do my ice cream, a vintage ice cream display as well, and breakfast. And then I have my display in the kitchen that is just all like new old stock, or like vintage labels of anything.
I mean, it's just so cool because I'm thinking of my house right now. Like, I don't even know the last time I probably this couch that I changed anything in. Like, and how
Yeah.
cool that you get to. I mean, you
Yeah.
probably fall in love with your house every season.
I do, and that's I think part of it. And I've also been honest with that, like, to come with collecting and I always say, and I've mentioned this to my therapist, like organizing for me, the constant organizing and compulsiveness of that, like is just that. It is kind of a compulsion and it's also an anxiety coping strategy because I'm very much at peace doing displays and doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
It brings me so much joy, but at the same time, it does help me self-regulate after I've had a long day at school or whatever it be. And I kind of just get lost in it, in a really
yeah,
good way. Yes, I do it because it's fun and I love how it looks and it's aesthetically pleasing and I've got great collections. But I also know that like it's okay, Hope, to not come home and organize something. Like you can do something else if you're feeling
right.
anxious or if you're just not in the mood to.
I'm managing partner of a little inn, a 15-room inn that we have here in downtown Chagrin Falls, and we have a Christmas room, and I have so much joy doing it. Like it just makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And my last question before we get into the rapid fire questions, what did you want them to take away from that?
Well, one, that there's like value in vintage, which I think like the community of vintage people get, and my family members, just even if they're not personally into vintage, they know for me, like the value, me showing my dad, like, look at this blow mold and like I sold it for that. Like, um, that there is value in that, and that like if it's not causing you harm, and it's not causing anyone else harm, like just chill out.
Yeah, you can
Um,
walk through your living room. You're
yes,
not
I mean,
stepping on things to get to the next room.
no, 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 no. And it's very much like I said, I'm very transparent on Instagram, the good, the bad, the ugly, the everything. I have fun doing that. It's kind of like my mini outlet of, I don't care. Like, hey guys, I don't know if you're watching this. I don't know if you're not watching this, but like I'm here to say it anyway. And then I can be done and, get it off my chest. Because when you
Uh-huh.
talk to 9-year-olds all day, and 7-year-olds, and one of them is asking to carry, their recently lost tooth around, and like you're just like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, I just need to like have like a conversation with like a grown up.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like it's not causing anyone harm. I'm not in financial ruin like people love to you know, I don't know. People are like,
Yeah.
oh my
Oh,
God.
I'm
I
sure.
did think it was interesting though, and I did make a point of this, is the couple that was featured on my show, with the beautiful collection, the very well organized, and everything had pictures. They got so much feedback of, if they have the money, that's great and whatever. But then people who I think we're too close to being able to relate to me. We're uncomfortable with the idea of that. And I got the comments of, she should be donating her money to animal shelters and she should be doing, and I'm like, wait a minute, you have an easier time accepting people who are very well off. And I don't want to speak to their financials. I mean, I don't
Right.
know, right? But to perceive to be very rich and well off collecting this much, it's not
Yeah.
hoarding for them. That's not hoarding.
Right.
That's
Right.
collecting. But for someone who is middle class, average girl. I mean, I'm a special ed teacher. I cry, I laugh, I do all the things. I have multiple hobbies. That's a problem then.
Yeah.
Like that was an interesting, I think not lesson that I learned, but just how our country views, we hate the rich, but we can't stop to watch them.
And you saying is eat your own food.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
just eat your own food.
Yeah, just kind of like it's a show, and I understand that like the title got negative feedback, and I know that it was definitely not ill-intended. It's just supposed to be, it was supposed to be a lighthearted face value,
Yeah.
right? It's not that serious, it's not that deep. Yeah, so if you Google like the difference between hoarding and collecting, but here I have the definition because I did actually look it up because I'm like, people are just not getting it. But it's
Yeah.
just says like hoarding is the excessive accumulation of items that prevents living in a functional space, while collecting involves organizing and displaying a themed set of items with appreciation.
Yeah.
Key differences include level of organization and the emotional and functional impact on the person's life. Collectors typically find enjoyment in their pride in organizing and curating collections, while hoarding is associated with like distress and social isolation. So like, and it doesn't and it interferes with daily life. So like, I don't want to ever make light of that because like I said, working in, in my field, like I'm very much immersed, and in my own personal life, very much immersed in the mental health, crisis
Right.
that our country is facing. But it just was like it's a TV show and it's just take it for face value. And I think people who got it. People who
Yeah.
didn't, right? They're the keyboard warrior
Yeah.
type people.
Yeah. Would you ever consider doing windows? Like, I think you'd be great at, for like Sharon Falls. If you haven't looked it up, look it up. It is the Norman Rockwell
Mhm.
picturesque small town. We have a waterfall that runs right through the middle. All
Oh,
the
wow.
small shops decorate their windows. Would you ever consider like that would be a fun business, I think, for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. One of like the crew members was like, I don't want this to be weird. I know you have a full-time job, but she's like, you should really consider becoming like an independent contractor of doing like
Yes.
movie and TV show sets because
Yeah.
not only do you have the collection that you can literally rent out to people, you're so good at curating it. Like that
Yes.
people would hire you to just come in and stage something.
Hmm.
I think if I had any sort of bandwidth after leaving school from being there for 10 to 11 hours a day, and then my mind really never leaving school,
Right.
maybe. But right now in my life, like it's too much. It's just I gotta kick the cat out of the bedroom because I'm like, I'm decompressing,
All right. Are you ready, Hope, for the rapid fire questions?
All right, I think so.
Yeah. All right. What is your most sentimental piece?
Of vintage or Christmas?
Let's go just in general through your entire collection. What if the house were on fire? What would you, other than the cat and your boyfriend, what would you make sure that you took out?
Any of my grandma's Pyrex or the Pyrex that has been given to me from my mom or my aunt, like that's an obvious one. My aluminum tree, because I don't know if you saw that story on Instagram, how it was like this tree my mom had, which like, my mom, love her, but she loves to like elaborate and fabricate. So none of us actually thought this existed. So like that I would absolutely, take. My grandma, her knitting basket, I have cast on and bind off tattooed on my wrists. She taught me how to knit when I was 6, and I have her original knitting basket and needles and her handwritten pattern.
Oh,
So all about vintage, like that's
yeah.
coming with me. And the basket's vintage for sure.
So
Um,
go Christmas.
okay,
What?
Christmas, the tree for sure. The whole Howard stuff, I guess not super sentimental, but like kind of now with Kyle because it's become our thing. Like we started collecting it together, so sure. Um, Mrs. Claus blow mold because that was my really what got me into blow molds was because my dad had Mrs. Claus and I'd asked him for her last year and he told me no, which like for my dad to tell me no was kind of like everyone kind of like turns their neck like complete 180.
So you have gotten it now or
No,
no?
he wouldn't
You're
give it to
still
me. He's like, that's
you're
mine, get your own. So I actually did go out and get my own. So I get Mrs. Claus because he won't give me his.
Oh, that's
Moving
so
around.
fun.
There's a pipe cleaner tree my aunt had gifted me that's from the 50s.
All right, coffee or hot cocoa?
Coffee.
What's your go-to order?
Black coffee with like a splash of half and half or whatever creamer, and that's that.
Okay. All right.
Or Bailey's.
Amen. Amen. What is your that's what we should have had is some hot chocolate Baileys.
Yes.
What is your favorite holiday movie?
Oh, I love The Grinch with Jim Carrey. I know it's like a child movie.
Oh, that's
Um,
the best.
yeah, I do. I mean, all of the classics. It's a Wonderful Life. Probably The Grinch, though.
The
Yeah.
Christmas Story is filmed right here in
Christmas
Crystal.
Story. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously. Oh, I should know. That's not even true. Die Hard, of course. That's a Christmas movie for
I
sure.
know it is, but I don't get how it is or what it is or
Yeah. Die
yeah.
Hard.
Okay. Real tree or artificial tree?
Real.
White lights or colored lights on the
Ooh,
tree?
warm white. Only warm white.
Warm white.
Yeah.
Um, what is one item you wish you wish you never bought, but you can't do without?
The blow mold collection. I mean, it's consuming. And as much as I love it, last year it got to a point where we saw blow mold and we were like, oh, fuck. Like, I can't even look at that. It was just like triggering where we're like, no, never again. But then they trickle in.
But then you get it. If you could sum up your experience on the TV show in one word, what would that be?
Fortunate. like I am just like I said, I'm a nobody. I'm a not, there's a lot of
You're
people on
not a
there.
nobody.
Yeah, I shouldn't say that. I tell my kids
Yeah.
not to say that. I'm just, I'm your average person. And there were people that were like, I know there's like a very famous drag star on the show, and he was featured, and there's other people that are like, I guess, really well known. And I am just like this little hole in the wall Milwaukee girl, nothing crazy, nothing, whatever. So just, yeah, I was very fortunate to be a part of it. And it was just such a good experience.
I love that word. Favorite Christmas song that instantly boosts your mood?
Oh, Baby Please Come Home this is my favorite, absolute favorite song. And I should know it because who sings it? But
Is it Kelly Clark's? No.
no, let me see. The original, that's not actually what it's called. Christmas, Baby Please Come Home by Darlene Love. You know this one. Well, yeah, so it's Christmas, Baby Please Come Home by Darlene Love,
If you could spend Christmas anywhere in the world, where would you go?
wherever my parents are, my family.
Mm,
Yeah.
I love that. And if Santa let you borrow a reindeer for a day, which reindeer would you take?
Oh my God. Um, Vixen, Comet, and Cupid, and probably Vixen. I love the name and I feel like that's kind of sassy and
Yeah,
also like, and I know that we'd be heading to an estate sale and I would just trust them to get me there safe and to carry all my shit back.
I love it. I love it. And then the last question that I ask everybody, if you were hosting a dinner and you could have two people as your guests, dead or alive, who would be sitting at your table?
Oh man, that's hard. I mean, probably both of my grandmas.
Yeah, I love that. You're definitely very family connected. I love that.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm fortunate to be, right?
Yeah. Well, this has been so much fun. I am so glad. My whole take on my podcast is it's from scratch. I'm just doing it because I wanted to do something for myself. I saw you and I was like, I need to reach out to her. And my girls, I have two daughters, and they're like, Mom, you're crazy. She's just, and when you emailed back, I was just so thankful and grateful. So thank you so much for taking time out of your crazy busy life and joining me on my simple little, I call it the podcast that you never knew you needed. Um,
Yeah. No,
and
this has been great.
Oh, I had so much fun talking with you. And where can people follow you? You mentioned your Instagram several times. So where can people follow you so that they can stay in touch with everything that's going on?
Instagram at Hope Goes Thrifting.
Okay.
That's where I'm just kind of posting my videos, my finds, my hardships, my wins, my glows and my grows, if we want to use my
Uh-huh.
teacher brain.
Awesome.
I've thought about selling Etsy, but the problem is like, well, one, as a maker, that was never going to be a thing for me because it takes the enjoyment that I get from making and quilting and knitting and whatever. I gift knit and quilt all the time. I just can't do it for profit. It makes me hate it. Kind of the
Oh,
same thing with vintage. Like I sell off parts of my collection, but I also know that it makes me happy doing so to get some of the money back in return to put more into, but also because it's going to other collectors. Like it's more of
right.
that community part. It's not about selling for profit. I'm not good at that, clearly. But I'm much more on the buying side now, especially without a booth. But yeah, it's just the community and knowing that it's going to someone that appreciates it.
Well, good. Best of luck with everything. And I hope that you soak in all your stardom from the show. Just keep living that stardom. Walk,
Yeah,
walk the streets and get noticed. Give some art.
yeah. At least at antique stores, right?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah,
I hope I gotta pay someone just to go up to my dad, like in a Sendix or something, and say, "Hey, aren't you
yes,
the guy from the TV show?" I just
yes,
gotta do that.
yes. I'll come to
So,
Milwaukee and I'll do that.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure he is recognized, and people are just like, "Oh God,
Has to be.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me and
yeah,
Merry Christmas.
yeah." Thank you so so much.
We'll see you. And I'm going to keep texting you and saying hello. We're best friends now.
Yes, please do, please do.
Have a great one.
All
We'll
right,
see you. All righty. Bye
bye.
bye.